Every developer runs git commit dozens of times a day, but almost nobody knows what's actually happening underneath that single word. Let's open it up. Here's the thing about Git that trips almost everyone up. It doesn't store diffs. It doesn't track files the way you think it does. When you run git commit, Git isn't comparing your file to the last version and saving the difference. Every single commit is a complete snapshot of your entire project at that moment. Git is smart about storage under the hood. Unchanged files aren't duplicated, but conceptually every commit is the whole tree, frozen in time. Once you accept that idea, half of Git's confusing behavior suddenly makes sense. So what is Git actually built on top of? 4 simple object types and one very important idea: content addressing. Its entire database is a folder called .git/objects, and everything inside it is one of 4 object types. A blob stores raw file content, no file name, no metadata, just bytes. A tree stores a directory listing, names, modes, and pointers to blobs or other trees. A commit stores a pointer to one tree, a pointer to its parent commit or commits, an author, and a message. And a tag is a named pointer to any of these, usually a commit. That's it. That's the entire model. Your working directory, your staged changes, your commit history, all of it eventually gets expressed as blobs, trees, and commits, wired together into one structure. There's no separate file history system layered on top. It's the same 4 objects every time. Here's the part that makes Git's storage model click. Every object is named by the SHA-1 hash of its own content. Not a file name, you choose the hash. Take a file's exact bytes, run them through SHA-1, and you get a 40-character hex string. That string is the object's address inside .git/objects. Change even one character in the file and the hash changes completely, so it becomes a brand new object. This is called content-addressable storage. It means Git can instantly tell if 2 files are byte identical anywhere in your history. Same content always produces the same hash. It also means Git objects are immutable. You never edit an object, you create a new one and point to it instead. So what does a commit object actually point to? One tree object, representing the root of your project at that exact moment. That tree points to blobs for files and to other trees for subdirectories recursively all the way down. When you commit, Git writes new tree objects only for the directories that actually changed. Anything untouched just reuses the existing tree object because its hash hasn't changed. That's the trick: full conceptual snapshots without full physical duplication every time. The commit object also stores a pointer to its parent commit. Follow that chain of parent pointers backward, commit by commit, and you've just walked your entire project history, one linked list of snapshots. Except it's not really a linked list, it's a directed acyclic graph, a DAG. Most commits have exactly one parent, which does look linear, but merge commits have 2 parents because they're joining 2 lines of history back together, and multiple branches can share the same ancestor commit before splitting off in different directions. Draw that out and you get a graph of commits, all connected by parent pointers, all flowing one direction forward in time, never looping back. This is why git log with the graph flag looks the way it does, and why commands like git log, git bisect, and git rebase are really just graph algorithms, walking parent pointers, finding common ancestors, and reordering nodes along the way. Now here's the part that surprises people most: a branch is not a container for commits. Branch is a single file, sitting in .git/ref/heads holding one thing, the hash of its latest commit. That's the entire branch. When you commit on a branch, Git creates the new commit object, then updates that one file to point to the new hash. When you switch branches, Git just checks out whatever tree that branch's commit points to. Creating a branch is nearly instant because you're not copying any files, you're writing one 40-character hash into a tiny text file. Head itself is the same idea, a pointer to whichever branch or commit you currently have checked out. Between your working directory and a commit sits the staging area, also called the index. It's a separate file, .git/index, that holds a snapshot in progress. When you run git add, Git hashes that file's content, stores it as a blob if it doesn't already exist, and records that blob's hash in the index. Git commit doesn't look at your working directory at all, it builds the new tree entirely from whatever's currently staged in the index. This is why you can edit a file after staging it, and the commit still only includes the staged version. The index is what lets you commit part of a change, review exactly what will be captured, and build a clean snapshot deliberately instead of all at once. So what happens during a merge? Git finds the most recent commit that both branches share their common ancestor, using the parent pointers we already covered. Then it compares that ancestor's tree against each branch's tree. If only one side changed a given file, Git takes that version automatically. If both sides change the same lines, that's a conflict, and Git asks you to resolve it by hand. Once everything's resolved, Git creates a new commit with 2 parents, the tips of both branches. That's the whole trick, no magic diffing engine, just tree comparison against a shared ancestor. And pushing to a remote. Same objects, same hashes, cop it over the wire so both repositories point at identical content. It's blobs, trees, commits, and pointers all the way down. Thanks for watching.